Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox. It's that time again to take a look deep into the Xbox back catalog. The original Xbox has a ton of exclusive games that nobody talks about, and I'm always interested in these games just to see if they've been forgotten for a reason or if they need more eyes on them. I made this list based on the user aggregate website Backlogged, and I only picked games that had under 10 people claiming to have played it. Of course, this doesn't speak for everyone, so if you've played any of these, let me know if you enjoyed them below. All footage was captured off of an original Xbox, and I want to thank my YouTube channel members for their support. But let's go ahead and hop into this one. The first one is New Legends, which I've reviewed thoroughly on the channel before. On Backlogged, only 9 people have claimed to play it, and I am one of those people. It was developed by Infinite Machine and published by THQ, and it came out in 2002. If you've watched my review, you will know I am not a fan of this one, and my opinion has not changed. New Legends is a messy game with many pitfalls that stop some of its interesting concepts from being enjoyable. In New Legends, you play as Sun Tzu, and you must resist the rule of Zhao Gan. You gather rebels from across China to fight his reign. The cast of characters you get is solid, with a demon and a few mythical creatures that make the world concept work. The story is pretty typical though, and only a little stands out from it. If anything, Sun Tzu is such an archetype that he stops a lot of interest in the plot. However, I do like some of the dialogue here, and I think the idea of characters talking to you in real time is interesting, especially with their portraits on the side of the screen. One thing I do like is the concept and design of the world. It takes place in a cyberpunk version of China. Swords are still in use, but they're still guns, and the world is industrialized, but cultural history still exists here. The interiors of this game look solid with nice colors and attractive designs. This game, though, does not have a strong look for exteriors. These levels are barren and wide open, with jagged edges that feel bland. This is the bulk of your gameplay levels, and it's uninteresting. Mix that with constant frame rate issues, and it's a mess to look at. Once again, the gameplay has cool concepts, but it's not crafted well. This game uses a dual-wielding system where you can mix and match swords and guns based on your preferences. I like this, and I think the movement is fun. Some of the combos you can use are solid, but the actual layout of the gameplay isn't well done. You usually just fight enemies, move up a little bit, and fight more infinitely spawning enemies. It's like trudging through a game, and it's not fun. There's hardly any enemy variety here, and there's no strategy to it, making for gameplay that never changes up and is slow. New Legends is a cool concept with little interesting going on. Poor gameplay design, empty worlds, and a standard story make for a forgettable game. One saving grace is that the traditional Chinese music used here is excellent, but everything else could be better. This one came out to mixed reception with mostly mid-level to bad reviews, and I think the terrible word of mouth killed any momentum. Not many people have good things to say about this one, but it's not as fundamentally broken as the memorable Drake of the 99 Dragons. This is just a missed opportunity across the board. I think that's why it's a hidden game on the Xbox. Next on the list is Classified: The Sentinel Crisis, which was released in Europe in 2005 and reached North America in 2006. It was developed by Taurus Games and was published by Global Star Software. Only 8 people have marked this one as played on Backlogged. This one's only an Xbox exclusive because its PS2 counterpart was cancelled and never released, but an Xbox exclusive is an Xbox exclusive. Classified is a first-person shooter, and I generally enjoy shooters as long as the action is good. Yet a few fundamentals botch a game that has some fun ideas, leading to a less than average game. In this game, you play as a super soldier and follow a political thriller across Eastern Europe. To be fair, there's not much detail to give to the plot because it's pretty bland, but in all honesty, it could be saved by gameplay. Unfortunately, the controls feel off. The movement is relatively slow and stiff. This game consists of a lot of hallways and a surprising amount of jumping around, yet movement is slow, and it feels off to move around, and it makes for an unpleasant playing experience. Shooting feels fine, and going around and killing enemies is okay. It's a cheaper game, so a lot of animations are repeated. It's mostly a target practice game where you shoot enemies when they pop up. A weird choice though is putting the zoom button on the D-pad, but it's fine. And I like the gun system here. You only get one rifle, but it has multiple modes. This gun can go from an SMG to a sniper to a grenade launcher, and you can collect upgrades for your gun in the game world. So your weapon is constantly evolving as you move through the game, and seeing how the gun ramps up is a little inspired and fun. I don't even think this game looks bad. I think the fidelity is good, it runs at 480p and widescreen. The level layouts are bland hallways, but they seem fine. Overall, the level-to-level play is just a bit bland, and it never struck me as all that interesting. The set pieces and locales are dreary and simple. You can find much better shooter levels on the Xbox. One neat thing is that this game does support custom soundtracks, so while you're shooting in levels, you can have whatever you want playing in the background, and that's always a great touch. I think Classified is forgotten mainly due to its late Xbox release and how bland it is. It doesn't help that movement is slow and not too fun. But from an audience perspective, this game doesn't deliver anything fresh. It's a bland by-the-book shooter, with its only real memorable thing is its cool gun system. So it makes sense that not many people bring this one up much anymore. Next, we have Transworld Snowboarding, which came out in 2002. It was developed by Housemarque and was published by Infogrames. 8 players have claimed to have played this one on Backlogged. This is a snowboarding Xbox exclusive. Yes, the Xbox had more than just Amped for snowboarding fans. Where Amped takes a more simulation approach to an extreme sports game, Transworld is exactly like Tony Hawk. It has custom downhill levels with places to trick off of and get high scores. You also have to complete various goals like specific tricks or taking specific paths. It's arcadey, and I think this game is a blast. Transworld Snowboarding is fast and arcadey. All of the tricking is simple, and the controls work well. You can mix spins and flips with different types of grabs when you go off of jumps. There's a lot of grab variety with the right stick since you can unlock more moves by holding down the trigger. It also rewards variety with perfect grabs. If you hold down a grab for a few seconds, it becomes perfect and you earn a bonus score, and it allows you to transfer to another grab to go for a perfect on that one. You can also grind on rails, which makes for fun combos. The way the levels are laid out also leads to these fun combos. There are many setups with jumps in the rails, and you can see the lines that they crafted to allow for a free-flowing nature. It's a good time when you get combos down and you beat those high-score goals. The levels offer some variety, but not like Tony Hawk. Mainly because there's only so many places you can snowboard, but they do some fun stuff here. There's one where you snowboard down a city street, and sometimes they put a ton of stunts in these downhill courses. I do wish there were more courses to snowboard on though, but what is here is well designed. The rock soundtrack included with this game is a perfect throwback to the era, but you can use custom soundtracks with this game to listen to whatever you have burned to your Xbox, which is always a great inclusion. It also looks good with a lot of details on characters and the places you go. I thought it had a simple but very solid look that would have been great on the Xbox in 2002. I was surprised by how much fun I had with this game. I'm a Tony Hawk fan, but sometimes games like this can be a bit of a miss. This one is a hit though, taking the goal and arcade-oriented feel and making it work for snowboarding. And I think there are a few reasons why no one talks about it, in my opinion. The first I'd say is lesser so, and that's by 2002 we had a lot of Tony Hawk knockoffs, and maybe the market was starting to dwindle. Yet the biggest reason it's forgotten is definitely Amped, the other snowboarding Xbox exclusive that came out before it. This was a high-profile release for the Xbox, and I do think it's a better game. It's more unique and has a better look. I just think this one was overshadowed by that game. It's a shame though, because this one is great and offers something different to Amped. If you like extreme sports games, this one is worth checking out. Really quickly before we move on, thank you for watching so far, and if you enjoy this video, please leave a like as it helps me out in the algorithm. And subscribe to keep up with the retro Xbox content like this, but let's go ahead and move on. Next is an odd one. It's Outlaw Volleyball Red Hot. This is a standalone expansion for Outlaw Volleyball. It came out in 2003 and was developed by Hysterics and was published by Simon & Schuster Interactive. Outlaw Volleyball itself isn't only on Xbox. It does have a PS2 remix release. Yet Red Hot is an exclusive release for the Xbox and also was exclusive to Blockbuster. With that much exclusivity, you can see why people don't bring it up much. And only 6 people have claimed to play it on Backlogged. This is a very simple release with little to it. To be honest, this game is only for those who want all Xbox exclusives or you just want it out of morbid curiosity. It is Outlaw Volleyball in gameplay, but only on one map, and all of the same characters just with new costumes. This map is entirely new though, and it's just set in hell. They put a volleyball court in the middle of hell and you just play in it. The gameplay is pretty good. It's a basic volleyball game. You knock around the ball with a team of 2, and you just go against the team on the other side of the net. Serving and hitting all feels good, and the targeting system is excellent. It's a simple volleyball game, and that's all it has to be. It's a good time, and I'd say that if you want a decent volleyball game, the original Outlaw Volleyball is worth playing. It does have a mid-2000s edge with scantily clad women and sexual innuendos, but it feels like a throwback. It even has Steve Carell as the announcer before he was a household name. Yet this game is such a small package that it's not worth playing. You only get one map. It's fiery and red, and I do love the giant Blockbuster sign in hell. Yet with this being the only court, its interest wanes extremely fast. It's just not enough, especially when there's no game modes other than tournaments and multiplayer. The roster is fine with the same people from the base game, just now wearing things like devil horns instead of bikinis. It's seriously just not enough to maintain interest. It's not even really a full-fledged game and seems more like a demo, but nowadays why even play this game when you can play the original? Even when this was new, why would you rent this when you could rent the full game instead? It just feels odd, and I think they should have just gone for a special edition release instead of whatever this is. This one remains obscure because it's a tiny oddity, and even then it was a Blockbuster Xbox exclusive, making it the definition of an obscure game.
Don't even think about it. Bring it over! Yeah, mine! Don't even think about it. Angle it! Maya! Angle! Yeah! I got it!
Kiss that point goodbye. It just doesn't love you anymore.
The final game on today's list is Nightcaster II Equinox. This game came out in 2002 and was published and developed by Jalico. This is the sequel to the Xbox exclusive Nightcaster from 2001, which is an obscure Xbox game in itself, yet if you were an Xbox fan at launch, you probably heard of it. But its sequel is widely forgotten. It has only 5 people claiming they've played it on Backlogged. Nightcaster II plays a lot like the original, which I think has cool elements but is a bit weak overall. They don't change a lot here, and it feels like a quick retread of the first, with co-op thrown in. Which co-op is a great feature, and it will add playtime. This is a top-down game where creatures flow at you from level to level. Your goal is to kill them all by using the spells in your arsenal. All of the spells are color-coded, and each enemy has a particular color to them. You have to use the magic of the opposite color to kill the enemies. It's simple and easy to get down. I think it works well, and I like this spell system. There's a surprising amount of spells you can pick from, and the variety of picking which ones you want equipped adds a nice creative touch to the game. The controls are a bit odd though, since it doesn't work quite like a twin-stick shooter as you'd expect. You move with the left stick, and you aim with the right stick, but instead of shooting out spells in a specific direction, you pinpoint where the spell goes, almost like a cursor on a computer screen. It's not bad, but it feels odd and takes some getting used to. It becomes more painful when you're put against the enemy AI. Fighting these enemies is uninteresting and slow. It's a game where enemies infinitely spawn at you, and they run fast so it's hard to run away. You usually have to stand your ground, aim and fire until you reach their spawn point and you destroy it. It's this over and over again, just the same thing with stronger enemies. It's brutally dull, and it's like this in the original, but the game difficulty is at least improved here, and you can respawn whenever you die. The monotony kills this game a lot, and so does the look. It looks good with some of the models, but it's hidden under so much darkness. I feel like I can't see anything in a lot of these levels, making hunting for spawn points even harder. It's not fun to look at or to play. At least the music is fun with some exciting techno. I think that's the most memorable part of this game. I don't love this one, and I know the reviews at the time were even worse than what I'm saying, which is crazy because the original also didn't get great reviews. I think this one is obscure because the original was already not well received and was forgotten for better early Xbox exclusives. This sequel doesn't do enough to make it worthy of being a sequel, and it's more of the same. So if it's more of the same of a game that was forgotten, I think that just mixes everything together to make this one a forgettable experience. But that does wrap it up for today. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments. Let me know of any obscure Xbox exclusives you can think of, or if you have any experience with these, I would love to hear your experiences with each of these games. Leave a like as it really helps me out in the algorithm, subscribe to keep up with the retro Xbox content, and I want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube channel members. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.